Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So our next day is from Thomas Sowell, and it says, "Why are you voting for Joe? Why are you voting for Joe Obama? By why are you voting for Joe? Then apostrophe Obama. Biden is voting for destruction of America." Thomas Sowell reacts. Let's check it out from our intelligent wisdom, man of integrity, man of dignity, humility man, like mention it. Tomorsoe has it all. Let's check it out.
Quote, this election is a test not just of the opposing candidates, but of the voting public. You wrote that this past summer. Explain yourself.
Well, it's not just a question of what the administration is doing. The question is the extent to which the public understands what they're doing, not only on particular issues like medical care or things like that, but about the whole way the country is governed. That is, if you can have a president who by executive order can nullify acts of Congress, can decide that some portions of the law that he likes will be enforced and other portions that he doesn't like will not be enforced, then we no longer have the separation of powers. And we have the executive acting as the overruling power in the nation.
You've also written, again this past summer, quote, if this year's election is going to be decided on the basis of hard facts, the Obama administration is doomed.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the hard fact is that we've had this enormous length of time that unemployment has been up above 8%. And none of the extraordinarily expensive things that have been done have made a real dent in it. And if people were going by things like that, and if they're going by what's happening internationally, and that's not even counting the most recent things today of an American ambassador being killed in a country that's supposed to be going through the Arab Spring, as the administration says, that Iran is going towards nuclear weapons with no sign whatever of slowing down. North Korea's already got them. Other countries are siding with our enemies.
So what you're saying is that this election, more than most,
yes,
represents a test of the democratic experiment, whether we can govern ourselves.
Absolutely.
All right.
And if by some miracle we get through, we have the good sense to remove this president, the question is, will we have learned a lesson, or will we turn off our common sense when there is the first woman president, the first Asian president, the first Latin president? I mean, are we so hung up on symbolism that we don't understand that being president of the United States means having the lives of 300 million people in your hands and the future of people yet unborn? If we don't understand that and we're willing to vote for people on the basis of symbolism, then we're lost.
Tom, let's apply common sense to one of the festivals of democracy, the Democratic National Convention. First Lady Michelle Obama. She begins by describing her father and Barack Obama's grandmother as decent people, hardworking people who sacrificed for her families. And then she says this.
So when it comes to rebuilding our economy, Barack is thinking about folks like my dad and like his grandmother. He's thinking about the pride that comes from a hard day's work. That's why he signed the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, to help women get equal pay for equal work. That's why he cut taxes for working families and small businesses and fought to get the auto industry back on its feet. That's how he brought our economy from the brink of collapse to creating jobs again, jobs you can raise a family on, good jobs, right here in the United States of America.
President Obama is giving us, quote, jobs you can raise a family on. Tom?
You know, it's like someone once said, it's like being a mosquito at a nudist colony. You don't know where to start.
I've come to notice that the government is a business. So they need a businessman to run it. Not only in the United States of America, even in other countries, even in Nigeria here. It's well. Let's check it.
Heavily on minimum wage type jobs or flipping hamburgers at McDonald's. The other thing is that what is implicit in all of this is that the economy has no recuperative powers of its own, that all the benefits, all whatever recovery there have been, has been due to Barack Obama.
It's like the scene of Genesis where he's breathing life into the clay of the economy.
That's it. Now, anyone who studied history knows that for the first 150 years of this country, the federal government did not intervene when the economy turned down. And all that time, the downturns all corrected themselves. One of the most classic examples was on the Warren G. Harding. When his first year in office, he found the unemployment rate at 11.7%. He did absolutely nothing. And he did not spend more government money. He cut back government spending. The Federal Reserve had the interest rates up at 6 or 7%, not down at 1% where they are now. The next year, unemployment was at 6.7%. The year after that, it was 2.4%. So the economy has recuperative powers. I mean, employers have an incentive to hire people. Workers have an incentive to get jobs. Lenders have incentives to lend. They don't need somebody in Washington trying to micromanage all of this.
Your argument is not only weak form of the argument. We don't need Barack Obama to breathe life into the economy because it'll recover on its own sooner or later.
If Barack Obama stays out of the way.
That's what I'm saying. The strong form of the argument is Barack Obama's actually been holding it down.
No question. I mean, there's never been a recovery other than that of the Great Depression of the 1930s that took so long. Under Ronald Reagan, in the early years got up to 9.7% annual unemployment. He did absolutely nothing. The media went crazy. The unemployment came down, and it kept right on coming down.
Right. All right. So, common sense, use your head. One common sense question is, what went wrong? How did we get into this mess in the first place? And Bill Clinton, once again at the Democratic National Convention, explained the answer.
Yes.
In Tampa, the Republican argument against the president re-election was actually pretty simple, pretty snappy. It went something like this. We left him a total mess. He hadn't cleaned it up fast enough, so fire him and put us back in.
The Republicans created the mess.
This shows that Clinton is truly a masterful politician. And to be a masterful politician, you have to have a lot of brass. And it takes an incredible amount of brass for Bill Clinton, who was the biggest factor in creating the housing boom that led to the bust that brought down the whole economy. It was during the Clinton administration that the federal government forced lenders to change their lending standards, which had been in place for decades and had made real estate one of the safest investments around. Bring those standards down in order that they can get the numbers that they want for low income, minority, etc., mortgage applicants.
Barney Frank, the ranking Democrat on the House committee that oversaw Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae said, quote, "I'm willing to roll the dice on Freddie and Fannie," meaning
he'd be willing to take the chance that the standards were being brought down too low. More than that, Attorney General Janet Reed under Clinton threatened lenders with legal action from the Justice Department if their numbers in terms of groups and income levels of people who were approved didn't fit her preconceptions. HUD under Clinton made lawsuits against lenders, charging them with racial discrimination based solely upon statistics.
So Tom, give me for the layman a 3-sentence summary, a soundbite kind of summary of what caused the mess we're in. It was not a failure of the market. It was a failure of
the government forcing people to lower the lending standards that had existed for years. And they said, well, the problem was blamed on greed. You don't satisfy greed by lending to people who can't pay you back.
No one will really understand politics until they understand that politicians are not trying to solve our problems. They're trying to solve their own problems, of which getting elected and re-elected are number 1 and number 2. Whatever is number 3 is far behind. I believe because this is true, it's the more reason why elections should be based on hard facts. I mean, It's one thing to want to stay in power because you have a passion to improve the country or improve the living standards of the people. And it's another thing to want to stay in power because you want to continue lining up your pockets. Well, that's the interesting part. It's up to the people to actually identify the motives, the intentions, and the record of each candidate and vote. And I think that's the biggest challenge with democracy.
See, guys, if voting make a difference, they won't let us do it. They won't let anybody want to do it. But Sowell is correct. Thomas Sowell is correct. Like, he's always correct as always. But I have little confidence in the electorate. The ignorance is palpable. Yeah, is really palpable. And the ignorance go on ignoring what's happening around us. I don't think there's any way to underestimate the voting public anymore. I don't think so. As always, like I said, Thomas Sowell is an intellectual. Like, he's full of wisdom at his old age. See, guys, I just don't really know what to say, but all I have to say is that if you do not know who to vote for, stay home. Please stay at home and don't vote. Or you ask God, you pray about it, and see what next happen. If you really don't know who to vote, don't vote for anybody. Just stay at home. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, watch, and subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye.